everyone, and welcome to another edition of Flx Matters. We have a very interesting edition here today, and on the sofa we have three very prominent members of an association called SARS. First of all, we've got Dr. Karl Silvosky here in the middle. Welcome.
Thank you.
Then we've got Ben Hall.
Nice to meet you, Mike.
Who's the fundraiser and public relations. And we've got Dr. Andrew Mason, who is one of the founder members of the SARS in Felixstowe. Welcome. Right, what we're here to do today is to find out what on earth is SARS. Now, the public here may have seen the paramedic car going around the town and wondered what it was. So, first of all, let's find out exactly what is SARS, what does SARS stand for? And I think Dr. Andrew here is going to start.
Mike, SARS stands for Suffolk Accident Rescue Service, and it was founded in 1972. I actually joined in 1974 when I started in general practice in a place called Woolpit, which you may have heard of on the A14.
Yeah.
It was a pattern of volunteer schemes which began in North Yorkshire. A doctor called Dr. Ken Easton started the first scheme in North Yorkshire. He lived very close to the A1, where serious accidents were occurring at a time when there weren't any paramedics on the ambulances, and he found that people were dying unnecessarily at the scene, and he organised local general practitioners, it was mainly, to get involved with his volunteer scheme to actually bring life-saving care to people at the scene of the accident. So this was a pattern. This was back in the mid-60s to late 60s. He tried to get funding from government for it, tried very hard to get that, but government really wasn't at that time prepared to consider funding these immediate care schemes as they became known. But the pattern spread across the country, and Suffolk was one of the first counties to actually take up the idea of having an accident rescue service. But it's throughout the whole of East Anglia. There have been, since the early 70s, there have been very active immediate care schemes in Norfolk, in Suffolk, and over in Cambridgeshire. And at our peak, we had 180 doctors who were actually volunteering for the accident rescue service. Just in Suffolk. We were the largest immediate care scheme in the whole of the country. But Norfolk and Suffolk are very rural counties, and the problem is that sometimes an ambulance can be quite a distance away, and if an accident or a serious illness, because it's not just accidents that we deal with, it's major medical problems, heart attacks, cardiac arrests, severe asthma, anything that is a threat to life, the Suffolk Accident Rescue Service doctors will get involved in. All the doctors are volunteers. It has from the beginning been like that. No doctor gets paid, there are no expenses paid, you pay for your own petrol to get to the scene. So it's a little bit like the lifeboat service, which I think you talked about recently.
Yes, we did. We went over to Harwich because Felixstowe's lifeboat is actually manned from Harwich, and we went over there, and at their invitation they asked us to go and do a piece on them, which we did. And again, they're totally self-funding, no money from the government, are they? That's right. It's well, I think it's sad, really, that we can't recognise the service. Anyway, going back to SARS, it's Suffolk Accident and Rescue Service.
Suffolk Accident Rescue Service.
Rescue Service, yeah. And you're definitely a charity.
We are.
You're self-funding. You get nothing from the government at all. Yeah. Okay, so when was it formed? How many years ago was it?
1972.
You started in
1972. We just celebrated our 40th anniversary. I've been a member since 1974, so I've been doing it more than 38 years, and I'm still, as you can see from my from my dress, I'm still active. I work on one of the rapid response vehicles out of Bury St Edmunds, I crew up with a paramedic to create what we call a critical care facility, so we can go out and give extra special support at serious incidents. We all now have honorary contracts with the ambulance service. We don't get paid for these contracts, but Carol has got an honorary contract, and I do too. But in addition to working on the RRV, I also work from home, driving my own vehicle, as Carol does. So,
well, coming over to you, Carol, you're our local member of this scheme, yeah? You're a local paramedic. Is paramedic the right word? Or are you you are a doctor.
I'm definitely a doctor.
It's the medic bit, paramedic.
Yes.
So where's the term paramedic come from? Is it an old term, or is it something that come up into more?
It's a term that means somebody working alongside a doctor, so a paramedic. We are the actual medics who work.
I get it. So you're our local one in Felixstowe, and I've seen you out and about in your very standout vehicle. So you're telling me that the vehicles are obviously supplied. They come from the charity.
This particular vehicle was donated by the 2005 Newmarket Charity Ball.
Was it?
Yes, they have a fundraiser every 3 years or so, and we happened to be a charity that year, and they purchased the vehicle for us. Now the charity runs the running of the vehicle, the repairs, etc., but anybody who uses the vehicle supplies the daily costs of that. So for example, when I use the vehicle, I fill it up with fuel, make sure that the oil's checked, and I have to check the vehicle every week to make sure that it's in running order.
Absolutely. Are you the only one in Felixstowe, or are there other doctors that take part?
No, I'm the only one in Felixstowe, and it is a little bit lonely on this part of the Suffolk, because I do cover quite a wide area. You know, I cover Felixstowe, East Ipswich, and sometimes all the way down to East Bergholt. Yes. I have been known to be called out to the A140 as well, and I also cover up north past Woodbridge towards Saxmundham, that corridor of the A12.
So you're a bit lonely down this way, aren't you?
It is a little lonely, but we are now getting some critical care paramedics, and there is one or two that are locally. So it's becoming less lonely, shall we say.
We've got a paramedic up in Saxmundham now, I think. So
I mean, we have a paramedic in Felixstowe as well.
That's right, and also there is somebody in Woodbridge.
So Ben, we'll come over to you. You are the fundraiser and public relations man.
Yeah. Newly joined.
Newly joined. Okay. Well, welcome to SARS.
Yeah, absolutely.
And your task is to get funds.
Absolutely. Well, basically, I mean, one of our main issues is explaining to people exactly what we are and why we need money. And I mean, essentially, the way it's worked for the last 40 years is the charities relied on public donations. That's how it funds it. And that, I mean, it's a testament to the Suffolk public, really, that we've lasted for 40 years when our running costs are around sort of 36,000 a year.
I was going to ask you what that was.
You can imagine. So it's a testament to their support, but as you're probably aware, the economic climate is affecting all charities, and essentially, sort of earlier this year, the executive committee at SARS decided that they needed a focused fundraiser. I mean, it's been our administrator, Colin French, who's been picking up a lot of the fundraising work over the last 13 years. I think he's been with the organisation, but the facts are that we really need to build our profile and get some more funding. So that's why they've brought me in to help.
Your profile has got to be right in people's faces. The air ambulance, it's a helicopter. Wow, people's it's a helicopter. See that, the lifeboat, that's a symbol in itself, isn't it? And but so SARS is the profile's got to come up to that sort of thing, because you need the public donations then.
Absolutely.
So you've got to be in people's faces. And
the way I'm looking at it is it's Suffolk Accident Rescue Service, where obviously the air ambulance is the whole of East Anglia. We are basically Suffolk's emergency medical charity. So we're the people in Suffolk who would be called out. We obviously work with the air ambulance. Actually, our chairman, Jeremy Morga, is the medical director at the air ambulance. So we work together. We collaborate with all these organisations. It should be viewed as a sort of a whole network of support, and that's the way to look at it. But we're a vital cog in that, and we need to get that across to people. So the more we can do stuff like this interview today, hopefully the more successful we'll be in doing that.
We'll help you in any way that can to get you out there.
Yeah.
So you just mentioned a figure. How much does it cost to keep a doctor on the road?
Well, the core running costs of the charity, as I said, are around 36,000 at the moment. But realistically, I mean, obviously, you can imagine that all these doctors and paramedics, we want the up-to-date equipment. We want to be able to train them to the highest standards. So, additionally to the very basic costs of equipping a doctor, you're looking at least £10,000 to. I can show you a picture. We've got a picture of the back of our car, and you might be able to see the amount of equipment in there. It's quite a lot of equipment, and you're looking at least 10 grand just to do that. So on top of that 36,000, obviously, I'd like to raise that additional amount of money so we can equip new people if they want to come on board.
Oh, that's
so it's a big job, but it's.
And how many doctors do you have in Suffolk?
We've got
8 doctors.
8 doctors and
9 paramedics.
So we're looking at 8, 9, 17 times 36,000.
No, 36,000 is the core running cost. So that covers the whole charity. But say a new paramedic or a new doctor wanted to join, we're talking about the extra 10,000, etc.
Okay. Right. Well, thank you for that.
Mike, I brought a map along, which probably. Viewers would like to see. This just
hold that to the camera.
That just shows our network of doctors and paramedics throughout the county. And we mentioned the air ambulance. Of course, the air ambulance currently doesn't fly at night, so the only advanced medical care that's available throughout the county would come from SARS. Even if the air ambulance gets funding for night flying, those flights will finish at round about 1 o'clock in the morning. So in the wee small hours of the morning, the only advanced medical care available in Suffolk will always be the Suffolk Accident Rescue Service. And 3 of our doctors actually work on the air ambulance itself, so we're providing exactly the same sort of care at the scene as the air ambulance would give you. We don't obviously have the ability to fly people to hospital, but it's often getting that expert care to the scene that is the important thing, rather necessarily than the transport of the patient by the helicopter.
I think a key point also is that all our members are based out of their own homes, so they're not in regional centres. So we're actually based out in these rural areas. So often our guys will arrive before the ambulance even. So it really is a crucial service. So
yes, our figure shows
that. So only 24/7.
24/7.
Absolutely.
24/7.
Yeah.
Wow, that's dedication. And you get jobs as well, obviously. You've got your surgeries to look after.
We have the surgery to look after,
If we can now go on to sort of the workings of it, I see that you've got an NHS badge. But first of all, I'll ask you, Carl, if I may. Where do your calls come from? Who calls you out?
We are mobilised by the East Anglian Ambulance Trust. So if there's a 999 call coming to the East Anglian Ambulance Centre, they should and do have our details on board, and if we are close enough, or if they need a particular help, they can actually mobilise us.
So you are actually affiliated to the NHS?
Yes.
And you're run from their central control, which I believe is Cambridge, is it?
It's moved now down to Chelmsford.
Oh, is it? Chelmsford.
Okay, as of 2 weeks ago, the new centre has opened up.
So you're all controlled from Chelmsford?
We are mobilised from Chelmsford. It may have its teething problems at the moment, but we hope that we are going to be on the radar from that point of view as well, so that we can be mobilised if it's appropriate. to be there as soon as possible.
So do the NHS see you as an integral part of the system? Although you're a charity and you're all volunteers, do they see you as part of an integral part of the whole response thing, like with the ambulances and etc.? You are part of it?
I've got a very nice quote actually from Pam Crispin, which you can see what she thinks. It's actually in our leaflet. I don't know whether you know Pam Crispin, but she's...
I don't know.
Yeah, she is from the...
She's the medical director of the
ambulance service. This over here. Where's our delightful Pam?
Yeah. And I can read you what she says if you would like. And basically, she's a volunteer doctor with us at the moment. Knowing that our staff can call on the additional expertise of SARS volunteers makes a tremendous difference. We primarily look to SARS where there's an incident in Suffolk that needs enhanced support. But over many years, SARS responders have helped patients in neighbouring counties. We should say that we also operate all around the borders. So we operate in Essex occasionally and in Norfolk.
Yeah.
The part SARS plays in the integrated system of pre-hospital critical care is vital to the people of Suffolk and beyond. So that's essentially saying what she thinks about it.
Well, my next question is: then you get a call out. You get called out, Carol. You get called out to an incident.
Yeah.
You're the first one there. 10 minutes later, the ambulance arrives, or probably less than 10 minutes, but 10 minutes later, the ambulance arrives. Whose case is it? Is it your case, or is it the ambulance's case? When they arrive, have to step down?
We work as a team.
You do work as a team.
And every time somebody new comes on, we update the status. We give over some of the information to the team, and if I have been there from the beginning and I know what's going on, then I'll say this is what needs to be done, and then the people can come in and do that. If the fire arrive, they will come to me as well, saying this is what we need to do for the fire service and the police. And we work as a team. If somebody comes in as an incident support officer, then we would give him the role, and I would then carry on doing what I was doing. All this comes from the training that we get. We do have and do keep updating our training, and we work closely with our colleagues so that we know it should be a seamless process, really, because our best our interest is only for the patient. You know, this is not I'm bigger than you, I'm better than you.
No,
this is I have these skills, you have these skills, but the patient is the centre of attention, and that's where those skills have to be.
We do know that this world, sadly, at the moment is ruled by health and safety, though, aren't we? You know, and health and safety rules play an enormous part. How do the ambulance service see your service in the health and safety? Somebody has to ultimately take responsibility for that incident.
That's
right. If it goes wrong, someone's got to take...
Well, health and safety at the scene usually actually is taken care of by the fire and rescue service.
Yes.
They're the ones, if it's a road incident, they were the ones that will take primacy as far as health and safety at the scene is concerned. And we are not... All of the ambulance paramedics are not allowed to actually approach the scene if the fire officer decides that it's too risky. We have to obey those instructions.
Fantastic. Okay, so you arrive at the scene, you're helping out, you're helping the patient. As we all know, the first few minutes are critical in any incident, aren't they? Whether it's a heart attack, a stroke, or some accident on the main road. The equipment you carry, is that life-savable equipment? Do you have the heart, whatever they call them, to get
the heart monitor, the defibrillator, I have my oxygen, I have my ventilation, I have my medications as well. And depending on what incident I come to, I certainly have at least 2 bags that I carry with me, and I have some more stuff in the car. Usually I grab the first 2 bags, come to the situation, and try to use them. And as other people come in, and if I find that I need something more, I say, could you go into my car, and on the left-hand side in this colour bag, could you bring that bag, etc.
I think it's important to say that we do actually carry equipment and drugs which are not carried on the ambulances. that, for example, just before midnight last night, I was actually called out by a crew who were unable to provide adequate pain relief for a lady who'd suffered a serious fracture, and I had to go to give a powerful advanced painkiller, in fact to give her an anaesthetic so that we could actually get her moved into the back of the ambulance. And then I travelled with that patient to the hospital to make sure that patient was stable throughout.
So paramedics on the ambulances, they don't carry all the drugs.
Oh no.
They are paramedics and not doctors. So there's some.
I think that's really one of the key points we need to get across about what we do. Is we're providing something additional. It's supplementary to what the ambulance service does. So, like Andy's just illustrated, our doctors can carry these drugs which paramedics on an ambulance cannot administer. So, that's the kind of additional complementary service we're providing.
That's very reassuring.
Yeah.
It is, there's always hand. What we don't see is people like you gentlemen here, behind the scenes, it's not until something happened that all of a sudden everybody say, wow, we really appreciate that scheme, isn't it? Little is really known. You see the cars, you see the blue lights, and you think, oh, something happened. But they don't really know the dedication and the work that goes on behind the scenes. Now, Carl, I understand that you also are interested or work with a scheme called Roadkill.
I am, yes.
So could you explain to us what Roadkill is, and is that associated with SARS?
It is. I am the SARS representative there. It initiated with the Suffolk County Council. The partnership is Suffolk County Council, Probation Service, Police, Fire Department, East Anglian Ambulance Service, and SARS. And it is for young people who break the law with vehicles. Either people who are not wearing their seatbelts, people who are on their mobile phone when they're driving, people who steal cars and drive too fast. And the most important part of this process is the charity called Road Peace, which are two ladies. And most of the day is centred about all the different services showing the selected youngsters what can go wrong and how horrible it is, and what we can see from our point of view. And the Suffolk County Council has some scenarios on a computer for testing their reactions, etc. Fire service shows them what they have to do when they come to an accident. They have to get people out. Police show them some accidents. I also show them some things that I have come across while I was working in the last 20 years in Suffolk. And the charity Road Peace are two ladies whose children were killed by speeding motorists who will come and tell them their story. Wow. Which I think is the most powerful part of the presentation of the day.
So are these people, they've obviously been offending, and part of their punishment, if you like, is to go through this. Go to this presentation.
Yes.
Thing, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I think part of their rehabilitation rather than their punishment.
Yes. And how it affects
other people.
Of course, like these two ladies, they're totally innocent in the situation. Foolishness of one person, probably.
And sometimes it is a split-second foolishness. I think I always remember one of the fireman presentations who described a process of what happens in an accident at 70 miles an hour. And the end of the story, which he read for about five minutes, was that the person died. Yeah. And how long does it take to die? That's it.
Absolutely.
From being alive to being dead.
Yeah. We've actually nearly found that out ourselves this morning. Ben and myself were coming, and I was right alongside a truck when suddenly there was a huge explosion, and one of its front tyres exploded. It veered across in front of us. Yeah. Fortunately, the driver was able to correct it and pull back into his lane. But, it was just happened in an instant. And we're on our way here to talk about accidents.
We saw the irony of the situation.
Absolutely. As you say, death is an instant thing, isn't it? sadly it happens, and most of that, of course, is road traffic accidents. So.
I mean, that's the reason why we got involved in the roadkill scheme. I mean, obviously, we're trying to prevent these accidents happening, which our guys are going out to attend, and we should still really highlight it. It's the work of Mark Cragg up at the Ipswich Fast. It's a great scheme, and it does have an effect on these young people. So.
Oh, that's very refreshing to know. Well, Ben, we've gone through the workings of it. Obviously, one of the big things is SARS. There's obviously the fundraising. So, how can people who are watching this think, "Oh, that's great. How can we give you money?"
Well,
what are the channels we can give you money about?
As you can imagine, these days there's a lot more than there used to be. It used to be a case of posting a cheque to us, or coming in and donating in person. But we've got social media these days. We have a Facebook page. We have online donations. If you visit our website, which we are in the process of upgrading because it is quite old at the moment.
And what is the website?
It's www.sars999.org.uk.
Okay,
and there is an online donation on there at the moment, but as I say, we are in the process of creating a new site, but it will be at the same address. So you can send us a cheque. You can come and attend some of our fundraising events, which we've got in the future. We've got one pub in Withersfield. It's not very near Felixstowe, but they're doing a fundraiser for us at the White Lion in Withersfield this weekend on the 26th. So if anyone in the area, welcome to go down there.
When you say Withersfield?
Yeah, that's near Haverhill. So
Wethersfield.
Withersfield.
Not Wethersfield. Withersfield.
Withersfield. Yeah, it's near Haverhill, basically. And the White Lion there are doing a fundraiser for this Sunday. If anyone's in the area.
Okay.
I mean, essentially, there's not many. It's only me really doing the fundraising, so we are very reliant on people who do events like this. So that's certainly another way. Other way people can help us is to do their own fundraising event for us.
Yeah, you don't have your charity tins and that on shop counters, do you?
Conveniently, I have one here with me. These are our charity, and we do. I think Carol's got two. Well, there's one at Radio Felixstowe, am I right?
That's
and
right.
There's one in Carol's surgery as well.
Yes.
But
I did think that I might be able to put out quite a lot more, because with me travelling so often and so far, I need to refuel quite often, and there are certain petrol stations that I stop, but every time I approach them they said, well, the management policy is not to have anything on, so therefore I can't, even though I fill up in there.
You really need to raise the profile. You need to get it up there, don't you? So
I mean, if there are businesses in Felixstowe who would be willing to have a collection for us, I'll certainly come down and give them a box. So
this is a bad time for businesses at the moment, isn't it? They don't have a lot of spare money. But obviously it's a very worthy cause, and if there's anything Felixstowe TV can do, you're quite welcome to come back as many times as you like.
Fantastic. Well, we'll certainly leave you a box, Mike.
Okay, that's fine. We'll do that, and I'll tell you what, when we're out and about, we'll carry it with us. So we can do that. What we do.
But I mean, there are other opportunities for business. Obviously, sponsorship for the cars and things like that. There's plenty of corporate opportunities. So it's just a case of, if anyone's interested, please contact me, and our details are on the website.
Okay. So what was the website again?
www.sars, that's SARS 999.org.uk.
We will get that put on the video.
Fantastic.
The video will be up there tomorrow for all to see. So you're quite welcome to promote your own video with a link from your website.
Fantastic.
Or whatever it is. That's absolutely fine. Well, sadly we've coming to the end of about half an hour. Is there anything anyone would like to add to what we've done?
Reliant on voluntary donations. Without voluntary donations, we cannot maintain our service. So we do need the public support. So please do help us.
Yeah, you're a very worthwhile cause. Obviously, it's a service. It's not. It is definitely a service which runs alongside the ambulance service, which is for everybody's benefit. So everybody out there would just like to give £1. I'm sure that we could keep Carol here running in Felixstowe area again for another year anyway. Okay everyone, thank you very, very much for coming in to see us at Felixstowe TV. I hope everything goes well for you. And I say you're welcome back at any time. So
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
well, thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you take on board what SARS is all about. If you haven't heard about them, you have now. So dip your hand in your pocket, give them some dosh, and keep carrying on the road.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching, everyone, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you.